When I was just studying photography in the early 70s, there wasn't a lot of attention given to photographers in the art world. But that all was starting to change, and you can see that, I think it was Newsweek that came out with a big issue that was devoted to art photography. All the photographers that I cared about and studied and looked up to, they were kind of being co-opted and into the art world. And so I wanted to make fun of that fact that they were becoming these sort of pseudo-celebrities. And being a baseball fan, I turned to my baseball roots or underpinnings and decided I was going to make a series of baseball cards of famous photographers that people could trade. Usually baseball cards are kind of dopey looking. They might be kind of faking some kind of baseball pose where it would be like as if they were doing some kind of action of like pitching motion or throwing or batting. So I would have people do various things like that.
There's the backs of the cards that have all the personal information, and then there was a place where they could write whatever they thought should be on the back of their card. And some of them tried to be funny, some of them were funny.
There were 134 different photographers that I included in this series. I would just call ahead and let them know I was coming by, and for the most part everybody let me in. So Imogen Cunningham, I remember making contact with her and explaining to her this project, and she thought it was just really a funny idea. She wanted to wear a Mao cap instead of a baseball cap. She wanted to kind of connect with this idea of being a communist instead of being a baseball player, and that was okay with me. The picture looked really quite nice, and I remember when I contacted Ansel Adams, who was, a celebrity and kind of a hard person probably to get an audience with. Once I sent him a copy of Imogen Cunningham's photograph, that kind of broke the ice, or that was my entree. And if Imogen Cunningham was going to do this, then he was going to do it too. And so I made the appointment, and I went down to Carmel, and it was a kind of a foggy day in Carmel, as it is often. And I was a little kind of flustered. So I made all these photographs of Ansel Adams that were totally underexposed. And Ansel Adams also did all these great books about the zone system, and he was extremely technically proficient, and it was so kind of humiliating to make these pictures of him. And it took me 3 months actually to get an appointment to see him the first time. And it took me 3 more months to get an appointment to see him the next time. But I went down, and we got a number of pictures, and one that I thought worked out pretty well. I self-published this project. I did 3,000 cards of each one. I got a bunch of people together, and we threw a lot of cards in the middle of the living room, and we started making packs of 10, and we put the gum, which I got donated from the Tops chewing gum company. They gave me the gum for free, because in those days baseball cards had gum in them. So they still exist today, and people like to see them, and they're part of the history of photography. That's really quite humbling that any project that you do still has some significance to people, and that they look back and they can see a picture of somebody as they looked in 1974, 1975, and see them make fun of themselves, see that they had a sense of humor.